Hello friends and welcome to our channel, a place where stories are not just told, but felt. A place where inspiration meets reality. A place where ordinary people can dream extraordinary dreams. Today, we have an amazing story for you. A story of struggle, hard work, and ultimate success. A story that will give hope to those who have failed, who are tired, or who want a better life. Yes, today we are going to talk about Mukesh Ambani, a man who rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most successful businessmen in the world. This story is for you if you have ever faced failure, if life has been tough, and if you want to learn the power of perseverance and hard work. So, sit back, relax, and let your heart open to the journey of Mukesh Ambani. Mukesh Ambani was not born with everything he owns today. He was not born into palaces or endless wealth. He was born in a small family in Yemen in 1957, where his father, Dhirubhai Ambani, worked as a simple employee in a gas station. Life was not glamorous. Life was not easy. When Mukesh was just a child, his father decided to return to India. They did not go back as millionaires. They went back as ordinary people, with small savings, with big dreams, and with endless struggles ahead of them. The family lived in a modest two-bedroom apartment in Mumbai. Imagine that for a moment, a future billionaire, living in a tiny apartment, sharing space with siblings, no luxuries, no comfort. At that time, there was no sign that one day this boy would lead one of the biggest companies in the world. But what they had was something greater than money: a father who believed in hard work, and a son who watched and learned silently. Mukesh grew up in an environment where every penny mattered. His father, Dhirubhai, always told him, "Do not be afraid of small beginnings. Do not be afraid of failure. Be afraid only of not trying." These words became the foundation of his life. As a young boy, Mukesh was not extraordinary in looks or lifestyle. He was simple. He wore ordinary clothes, traveled in public buses, and lived like every other middle-class student. But inside him, a fire was burning, a fire to do something big, something meaningful, something that would change his family's life, and maybe the future of India. Mukesh Ambani was a curious student. He did not only study textbooks, he observed the world. He asked questions like, why are some nations rich while others are poor? Why do some businesses succeed while others fail? How can one man's vision change the destiny of millions? These questions followed him into his student life. He studied chemical engineering at the Institute of Chemical Technology in Mumbai. Later, he even joined Stanford University in the United States to pursue an MBA. But life had other plans. His father needed him back in India to help in the family business. So Mukesh left his prestigious MBA in the middle and returned home. Many people mocked him. They said, "Who leaves Stanford? Who gives up America for an uncertain future in India?" But Mukesh was not thinking about comfort. He was thinking about responsibility. He believed his father's vision was more important than his personal comfort. This was his first big lesson. Sometimes success means sacrifice. You cannot get everything. You must give up something to build something bigger. Back in India, Mukesh Ambani joined Reliance, the company his father had started. At first, it was small. They were in the textile business, selling fabrics under the brand Vimal, The company was not yet a giant. Mukesh did not sit in an air-conditioned office giving orders. He was not treated like a prince. Instead, he worked side by side with workers in factories. He learned about machines, about products, about supply chains. He spent days and nights understanding how things worked. This was unusual for the son of a company founder, but this was the training that shaped him. He was not just studying business, he was living business. He saw failures too, projects that did not work, products that did not sell, investments that went wrong. But instead of giving up, he learned something from every mistake. He realized that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. The turning point in Mukesh Ambani's journey came when his father gave him a massive responsibility at a young age. Reliance was still a growing company. India's economy was not as open as it is today. Businesses faced strict rules, lack of technology, and limited resources. But Dhirubhai Ambani told his son, "If you want to build something great, don't wait for the perfect conditions, create them." Mukesh accepted the challenge. He began working on something unexpected, a petrochemical plant. At that time, India was not seen as a place where world-class industries could grow, but Mukesh believed otherwise. He spent long hours in the factory, learning every detail. He wore a helmet, walked among engineers, ate with workers, and listened to their problems. He wanted to understand the business from the ground up. This was not just about money. It was about vision. Mukesh wanted to build an empire that could stand equal to global giants. He wanted to prove that an Indian company could compete with the world. The project was risky. Banks doubted him. Experts laughed at him. Competitors mocked him. But he kept moving forward. And then success came. The petrochemical plant became a reality. Reliance started to rise. The company grew from textiles into one of the biggest energy businesses in India. Mukesh had learned another powerful truth. Great things are born out of risk. If you play it safe all the time, you remain small. But let's be honest, Mukesh's journey was not only about victories. There were failures too. Some projects failed. Some investments collapsed. Some strategies went wrong. There were times when even Reliance's future seemed uncertain, but Mukesh Ambani never allowed failure to break him. Instead, he turned every failure into a lesson. He once said through his actions, "Business is like life. You cannot win every day, but you can learn every day." Think about it. Many young people today give up after one failure, 2 failures, or 3 failures. But the truth is Mukesh failed many times. What made him different was his ability to stand up again, stronger than before. This is what makes him an inspiration. Failure does not define you. Your response to failure defines you. As the years passed, Reliance expanded. Under Mukesh's leadership, it entered oil refining, petrochemicals, and then telecommunications. When he started Reliance Jio, many experts laughed at him again. India already had big telecom players, they said. Mukesh will waste billions, but Mukesh had a different vision. He believed that data is the new oil. He believed that if ordinary Indians could get cheap internet, it would transform the nation. So, Reliance Jio launched with almost free data and calls. Competitors could not survive. Millions of Indians, even in villages, got access to the internet. Students could study online. Small businesses could grow. Families could connect. Jio was not just a business success. It was a revolution. It changed the way Indians lived, worked, and dreamed. This is why people say, success is not only about making money, it is about making impact. Mukesh Ambani did not only inherit a company from his father, he inherited a dream. After the passing of Dhirubhai Ambani in 2002, many people doubted whether Mukesh could handle the massive responsibility of leading Reliance. The truth is, leadership is not easy. It is not only about giving orders. It is about carrying the weight of thousands of employees, millions of customers, and the trust of an entire nation. Mukesh learned to lead not by shouting, but by listening. He spoke less and observed more. He believed in empowering people around him. Engineers, managers, workers all felt that their contribution mattered. He also carried the philosophy of his father. Think big, but remain simple. That is why, even though he became one of the richest men in the world, Mukesh Ambani lived a disciplined life. He avoided unnecessary show-off. He was known for his focus on work, not on fame. Leadership taught him patience. It taught him sacrifice. It taught him that true success is not measured by how much you own, but by how many lives you touch. Today, Mukesh Ambani lives in Ontario, one of the most expensive houses in the world. He owns companies worth billions. He's on the list of the richest people globally. But let us look deeper. Behind this image of wealth lies a man who once lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. A man who once traveled in buses. A man who once worried about how to pay bills. This is the reason his story inspires millions. He never forgot his roots. He never let money change his values. When asked about his wealth, he once said in interviews, "Money is only a tool. What matters is what you do with it." That is why he invests in education, healthcare, technology, and opportunities for ordinary Indians. He believes wealth should not only serve one family, it should serve the nation. And this brings us to another lesson. True richness is not in your bank account. It is in how many lives you improve. Mukesh Ambani's life is not just a business story. It is a message to every young person who feels broken, tired, or lost. He teaches us, you don't need to be born rich to become successful. You don't need to have perfect conditions. You need courage. Failure is not your enemy. Quitting is. Success is not about money. It is about impact. If you are a young man or woman reading this, remember Mukesh Ambani was once just like you, ordinary, unknown, struggling, but he kept moving. He kept working. He kept believing. And one day, the world noticed. Behind every great man, there is always a foundation that holds him strong, his family. Mukesh Ambani married Nita Ambani in 1985. Their marriage was not only about two people coming together. It was about building a shared vision. Nita stood by Mukesh in every challenge. She supported him not just as a wife, but as a true partner. While Mukesh focused on building industries, Nita worked on education and philanthropy. She founded schools, universities, and projects for underprivileged children. Together, they raised 3 children: Isha, Akash, and Anant. Despite being born into wealth, Mukesh and Nita made sure their children understood the value of discipline, respect, and responsibility. Mukesh always told them, "What you inherit is not wealth, but values. Wealth can disappear. Values remain." This shows that success is not only about business. Success is also about building a strong family, rooted in love, respect, and humility. Mukesh Ambani never forgot where he came from. He understood what it meant to struggle, to live with limited resources, to dream big, but lack opportunities. That is why philanthropy became an important part of his journey. Through Reliance Foundation, led by Nita Ambani, the family invested in education, schools and scholarships for poor children, healthcare, hospitals and health programs for rural areas, women empowerment, training and opportunities for women in villages, rural development, water, electricity, and livelihood projects for struggling families. For Mukesh, this was not charity. It was responsibility. He believed that wealth is meaningful only if it serves others. This brings us to another powerful lesson. You rise higher when you lift others with you. Mukesh Ambani is not a man who stops after one achievement. His eyes are always on the future. After revolutionizing telecom with Jio, he began focusing on green energy, solar, hydrogen, and renewable resources. He dreams of making India less dependent on oil and moving toward clean, sustainable energy. He also invests in digital services, retail, and technology that can transform how Indians live and work. His vision is simple but powerful: to build a stronger India, powered by innovation, opportunity, and inclusion. This is what makes him different. He's not just building wealth for his family. He's building a future for an entire nation. Mukesh Ambani's life carries a special message for those who feel broken, tired, or hopeless. Maybe you failed in exams. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe your business collapsed. Maybe you feel life is unfair. But remember this: Mukesh Ambani also faced failures. He also lived in a small apartment. He also had to fight through doubts, risks, and uncertainty. What kept him going was not luck. It was persistence. He refused to quit. And that is the secret. Not talent, not background, not money. The secret is never give up. Mukesh Ambani is not just a businessman. He is a force of change. His decisions have shaped the way millions of people in India live. When Jio made the internet affordable, the poorest families in villages could finally connect to the world. Students could attend online classes. Farmers could learn about weather, seeds, and markets through mobile phones. Small shopkeepers could expand their businesses through digital payments. This was more than business, it was transformation. He gave power to ordinary people. On the global stage, Reliance became a name that even the biggest corporations respected. Partnerships with Google, Facebook, and Microsoft showed that India was no longer just a market, it was a leader. Mukesh Ambani proved that an Indian company can compete with the world's best. And he proved that wealth is not only about building towers, but also about lifting nations. If there is one thing that defines Mukesh Ambani, it is his relentless work ethic. He works long hours, often late into the night. He reads reports, checks details, and monitors progress closely. His discipline inspires everyone around him. He once shared a thought through his actions: work until your work speaks for you. And indeed, today his work speaks louder than any words. Reliance is not just a company, it is an empire built on the foundation of hard work. For young people who feel tired or lazy. His life is proof that shortcuts never lead to greatness. Only consistent effort does. No successful person escapes criticism. And Mukesh Ambani is no exception. Some called him lucky. Some said he only succeeded because of his father. Some accused him of taking too many risks. Others said he would fail. But he never wasted time answering critics. He let his results speak. Critics talk, doers build. Mukesh Ambani built. He proved himself not once, but again and again. From textiles to oil to telecom to retail to green energy, he succeeded in every field he entered. This teaches us something powerful. Don't let negative voices stop you. The world will doubt you until you prove them wrong. If you are young and you feel life is unfair, listen to this. Mukesh Ambani was not born in luxury. He lived in a small apartment. He gave up comfort to face challenges. He failed many times. He was doubted, criticized, and underestimated. Yet he rose. Why? Because he worked, because he believed, because he never gave up. So, if you are broken, if you feel tired, if you think success is impossible, remember this story. Your current situation is not your final destination. Mukesh Ambani's life is proof that ordinary people can achieve extraordinary things. Mukesh Ambani's journey is not only about numbers, industries, or wealth. It is about philosophy. His life carries lessons that go beyond business. He believes that success is not an event, it is a journey. A journey of discipline, sacrifice, risk, and persistence. He once expressed through his actions that success is never owned, it is rented, and rent is due every day. This means you cannot sit back after one achievement. You must keep working, keep growing, and keep improving. Mukesh Ambani also believes in balance. Despite his work pressure, he spends time with his family. Despite being a billionaire, he remembers the days of simplicity. Despite global fame, he remains rooted in his culture. This balance is what keeps him strong and grounded. Now imagine this. Somewhere in the world, a young man is sitting alone, feeling broken. He failed in exams. He tried business and lost money. He feels his life is useless. To that young man, Mukesh Ambani's story whispers, "You are not finished. You are not hopeless. You are not alone." Because once upon a time, Mukesh Ambani too was unknown, ordinary, and struggling. But he chose to fight. He chose to dream. He chose to work harder than anyone else. And that choice changed everything. If he can rise, so can you. Today, Mukesh Ambani stands as one of the richest men in the world. But more importantly, he stands as a symbol of what hard work, vision, and persistence can achieve. His legacy is not just Reliance, not just on Telia, not just billions of dollars. His true legacy is the hope he gives to millions of young people, that no dream is too big, that no failure is final, that no background can limit you. Mukesh Ambani's story is a mirror. When you look into it, you don't just see him, you see yourself. You see your own potential, you see your own possibilities. And so, the story of Mukesh Ambani is not really an ending, it is a beginning. A beginning for every student who thinks, "I am not good enough." A beginning for every jobless man who thinks, "My life is over." A beginning for every dreamer who thinks, this is impossible. Mukesh Ambani's life says, it is possible. It is worth trying. It is worth fighting for. So the next time you feel broken, remember this story. Remember the boy in a 2-bedroom apartment who rose to build one of the biggest empires in the world, and then tell yourself, if he did it, why not me? The end. Or maybe, your beginning.